Good evening, FC Barcelona fans from around the world. We're here live at Camp Nou in Barcelona, just about 35 minutes away from kickoff of the final El Clasico of the season, the show of shows. FC Barcelona versus Real Madrid in week 36 of La Liga. FC Barcelona having, of course, already wrapped up La Liga title, which means that this one is for pride. That and Barça can extend its record unbeaten streak to 42 games in La Liga, stretching back to last season. Sit back, buckle up, and hold on, because we have a great pregame show ready for you. We'll have the starting lineups in just a couple seconds, along with the players' warm-ups out on the field up until the Barça anthem just a minute before kickoff. I'm Mike Toll. I'm along with Jordi Abel. Jordi will be bringing you this portion in Spanish, and we're ready for El Clasico. Just about 35 minutes away, folks. Thank you for joining us live on FC Barcelona's official Facebook channel, FC Barcelona's YouTube channel, and on FCBarcelona.com's very own Barça video. Jordi, bienvenido.
Gracias, Mike. Saludos, aficionados del Fútbol Club Barcelona de todo el mundo. Estamos en directo en el Camp Nou para vivir la previa del partidazo, el clásico de la Liga Española entre el Barça y el Real Madrid. Faltan 4 jornadas para acabar la Liga para el Barça, 3 en realidad. Esta es la jornada 36. Aquí veis los últimos resultados entre Barça y Real Madrid. Estamos con vosotros en directo en nuestro canal de YouTube, en nuestro perfil de Facebook, en nuestra página web. Nos podéis hacer llegar vuestros comentarios. Estaremos con vosotros hasta que falten 2 minutos para empezar el partido. Veremos el calentamiento en directo y hablaremos del partido, de las alineaciones de seguida, de todos los detalles, todas las estadísticas para vivir este Barça-Real Madrid aquí en la página web, en YouTube, en Facebook del Fútbol Club Barcelona. Como veis, un día fantástico, 16 grados y el Camp Nou, que la gente ya empieza a entrar en las gradas.
That's right, the people are streaming in. There are huge lines still outside the stadium as people make their way through security and into the stadium. We still have a little while to go, but we're checking out right now on your screens gorgeous views of both the stadium and the surrounding mountains of the Collserola Park outside Barcelona. It's a gorgeous evening both outside the stadium and inside the stadium. It's about 18 degrees Celsius, 64 Fahrenheit outside. It was rainier earlier this morning in the Barcelona area with a lot of cloud cover, but in mid-afternoon that all cleared away, and it provided what should be an absolutely gorgeous night for football, soccer, whatever you call it, from wherever you are in the world. Down here on the field, it is a couple degrees cooler. It's 16 degrees Celsius and about 60 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's absolutely gorgeous. The fans are going to have a show in store because this is going to be El Clasico in one of its purest forms. It's been 10 years since the last time Barça and Real Madrid played a match that didn't have any bearing on the Liga standings as far as the title's concerned. FC Barcelona, of course, last week wrapped up its 25th La Liga title in club history, 7th in the last 10 seasons. That's dynasties-like, folks. So this game with Real Madrid trying to probably hang on to 3rd place, maybe get up into 2nd, and hopefully not slide down to 4th, but just a few games remaining this year. Barca having already clinched it. This game is going to be about pride. Both coaches have released their starting lineups for this one just a few minutes ago. Let's get into that, and as you can see by the names that we're going to call off in just a second, they are taking this game just as seriously as any other. Jordi, shall we go with the starting lineups?
Vamos con las alineaciones del Barça, del Real Madrid, los dos equipos prácticamente con su mejor 11 por parte del Barça, que aún no se ha ido calentar, sí que lo ha hecho el Real Madrid. Ahí estáis viendo imagen en directo de los futbolistas del Real Madrid calentando. Gareth Bale, Cristiano Ronaldo, Karim Benzema.
That's right, hang tight, folks, because Barca will be out to warm up in just a minute. We're waiting on them. Real Madrid, of course, is out there, so you'll see them in the time being.
Vamos con el 11 del Barça. Ter Stegen en la portería, Sergi Roberto y Jordi Alba en los laterales, Umtiti Piqué, pareja de centrales, centro del campo para Busquets, Rakitic, Iniesta y Coutinho, y en punta de ataque Luis Suárez y Leo Messi.
Well, folks, I'm going to go over that in English in case Jordi's Spanish is a little too fast for you wherever you are around the world. We have Marc-Andre Ter Stegen, FC Barcelona's German goalkeeper, in the net tonight, starting yet again, having a fantastic season. As the fullbacks, we'll have the left fullback, Jordi Alba, the local guy from La Hospitalet, from right here next to Barcelona, and Sergi Roberto from Reus in Catalonia. He's the right back. The center backs are going to be the Frenchmen, Samuel Umtiti and another local boy, Gerard Piqué. You may have heard of him before. In the midfield, we are going to have Andres Iniesta on the left. Iniesta going with quite possibly, well, not quite possibly, certainly his last El Clasico as a Barca player. He'll be moving on at the end of this season. Sergio Busquets, the Catalan midfielder. Ivan Rakitic, the Croatian. And Felipe Coutinho, the Brazilian, in another midfield position out there on the right. He may slide up and back in a forward position as well. And the two strikers, the Uruguayan Luis Suarez and the Argentinian, the king, the GOAT, the greatest of all time, Lionel Messi.
Y por parte del Real Madrid, recordemos que tiene bajas como por ejemplo la de Carvajal, 11 también de gala para el equipo de Zinedine Zidane con Keylor Navas en la portería, Nacho será el lateral derecho, Marcelo en el lateral izquierdo, Sergio Ramos y Rafael Varane en el centro de la defensa, 3 centrocampistas, Casemiro, Modric, Toni Kroos, y en la delantera la BBC, Gareth Bale por la derecha, Ronaldo más tirado a banda izquierda y Karim Benzema en la delantera.
Thank you, Jordi. So Barca is going with a 4-4-2 that could become a 4-3-3 depending on whether Coutinho slides up onto the wing. Real Madrid going with a 4-3-3 themselves. Keylor Navas in goal. Nacho on the right fullback position. Sergio Ramos and Rafael Varane as the center backs. Marcelo, the superstar left back for Real Madrid. In the midfield, Luka Modric, Casemiro, Toni Kroos, the German, and 3 strikers. You may know them as the BBC, Gareth Bale, Karim Benzema, and Cristiano Ronaldo. As we said, these are 2 star-studded lineups. The only major injury out of these, or the player you may be expected to see in the starting lineup, would normally be Dani Carvajal. He'll be out in favor of Nacho for this game. But other than that, both teams are bringing all the firepower they have, both on defense and on attack, and we should be ready for an exciting game, folks. This is football in its purest form. They're playing for the colors, they're playing for pride. Again, the La Liga title is already wrapped up for FC Barcelona. So the first question I'm going to ask to everybody that's following us out there on especially Facebook and YouTube, can you let us know what you think the score of the game is going to be, given that this game is not for the league title? Some people expected these two teams to be a lot closer in the standings at this point of the season. FC Barcelona in first place, having already clinched with 86 points, 26 victories, 8 draws, and 0 losses. That's right, Barca is still undefeated on this season, and including the final 7 games of last season. That's 42 overall, 35 this season. That's the most any team has done in La Liga history. Atletico Madrid is in second place. A little bit of a surprise there. Real Madrid in third as the Barca players. Andres Iniesta among them there at the beginning of the line, getting ready to jump out on to the field. Real Madrid in third place, 71 points. They're 15 points behind FC Barcelona at this point in the season. Nobody would have said that a few months ago, but that's exactly where we are. So besides the pride factor, Real Madrid may be trying to get a little bit of revenge. Besides those 15 points, they don't want anybody to think that the difference is really that large. And of course, earlier this season on December 23rd, as Andres Iniesta and Sergio Busquets are the first Barca players out onto the field. Back on December 23rd, the last meeting between Barca and Real Madrid was at the Santiago Bernabeu, and it was an early Christmas present for Barca fans. Barca rolling to a 3-0 rout at the Santiago Bernabeu. One of the reasons why Barca has such a big lead in this competition and having already wrapped it up. So Real Madrid, maybe a little bit more revenge on their minds, but there's no question they're going to be battling out on the field tonight.
Como sabéis, el Barça ya es campeón de Liga. Los jugadores ya han salido a calentar al césped del Camp Nou. Lo ha hecho primero Andrés Iniesta. Partido especial, especialísimo para el centrocampista del Barça, para el capitán del Barça. Último clásico para el manchego y lo vivirá como titular. Arrastraba unas pequeñas molestias en el solio durante la semana. Ayer y antes de ayer ya entrenó con el grupo y Andrés Iniesta evidentemente está en el 11 inicial para vivir este clásico de la Liga Española. Como decía Mike, hacía 10 años que este partido no llegaba, digamos, sin trascendencia a nivel de decidir el campeón de Liga. El Barça ya es campeón de Liga, lo hizo la semana pasada, lo confirmó la semana pasada en Riazor, en el campo del Deportivo de La Coruña, con esa victoria por 2-4. Lo cual deja una distancia de 15 puntos entre los dos. Es la distancia más grande a la cual se ha llegado en un clásico en la historia. Y si el Barça suma 18 puntos, suma la victoria, estaría 18 puntos por delante del Real Madrid a falta de 3 jornadas para el final, lo cual sería el récord entre los dos equipos. Ahora mismo el récord es de la temporada, ayer lo hablamos con Mike Roberts, la temporada 85-86 con Terry Venables. El Barça llegó a estar a 17 puntos del Real Madrid. Si hoy el Barça gana, quedará a 18 puntos del Barça. Unas cifras fantásticas para el equipo de Ernesto Valverde, que ya está calentando. Como veis, Mike, un calentamiento más corto que el del Real Madrid, que hace ya casi 10 minutos que ha saltado el césped. Calentamiento más corto por parte de los jugadores del Barça, en un césped que está en un estado extraordinario y que verá por primera vez a Coutinho debutar en un clásico. El brasileño debuta hoy en un clásico.
That's right, Coutinho making his El Clásico debut. He joined Barça in January, a couple weeks after the previous match was played at the Bernabeu in December. So it should be a nice little personal motivation for him. There's Andres Iniesta getting loosened up for this game. There's got to be a lot of really interesting things going through Iniesta's head. We saw his very emotional farewell press conference last week, and there should be a lot of emotions going through the head of Iniesta, because this is going to be his very last Clásico. He's played a lot of them. As we take a closer look at Felipe Coutinho's shoes with the Brazilian flag and a couple personal sayings on there, a nice pair of Nikes for Coutinho. But going back to Andres Iniesta, in the starting lineup for his final El Clásico, he came on in the Copa del Rey final. He was applauded by both teams in that game, scored a goal. He actually started the Copa del Rey final, scored a goal for Barça, was applauded by both teams. Nothing new for Iniesta. He's beloved throughout Barcelona, throughout Spain, and throughout the world because of everything he's given to both FC Barcelona and the world of football in general. That's a quote from Ernesto Valverde, his press conference yesterday, as Andres Iniesta gets loosened up there on the field. This Classic is, as Jordi said, Barça with a 15-point lead over Real Madrid, the biggest in a long time, since the 1980s, and a victory for Barça would leave that difference at 18 points. Who would have thunk it that Barça would be 18 points ahead of Real Madrid with just a couple games left to play? Now, of course, this is match day 36 in La Liga, but it's actually only game 35 for Barça and Real Madrid. All of the other teams in La Liga have already played 36 games. This is the final game. I think it's the final game. Is there one more game tomorrow in La Liga? I think this may be the final. There's one more game tomorrow. Most of the other teams have played 36 games. The other two teams are Leganés and Levante. They square off tomorrow. This is the penultimate match in this weekend's schedule. But Barça and Real Madrid, the reason why they've only played 34 up until this point is because when Barça faced Sevilla in the Copa del Rey final 2 weeks ago, Sevilla was supposed to play Real Madrid that weekend in La Liga, and Barça was supposed to play Villarreal, which is going to be next week. And so each of them has one less game. So Real Madrid is going to try and narrow that gap on Barça. They don't want to make that any bigger. Barça, of course, has won the double, the domestic double. Clearly the kings of Spanish soccer, Spanish football. Real Madrid narrowly squeezing through to the Champions League final with an aggregate win by 1 goal over Bayern Munich earlier this week. There were a lot of questions surrounding whether or not they'll be tired, whether they'll be resting players in this match or not. It appears they're not going to be, because they have all of their big guns, except for Carvajal, out there. Even Rafael Varane, the center back, appeared to be a little touched up in that game against Bayern Munich, but he's out there starting in this one. So it shows you how seriously the coaches on both sides are taking this game, as well as the players, in the fact that a game that mathematically has no bearing on the La Liga Championship this year, and given that it's a World Cup year on top of it, with almost every player from both of these teams are going to be starting and playing for their teams, their national teams, this summer, which is just over a month away, you would think that in a lot of years, if this wasn't an El Clásico under the current situation, these standings, that a lot of these guys wouldn't be playing this game. But given that it's an El Clásico, the rivalry of all rivalries, the greatest show on earth, whatever you want to call it, they're out there. This is the 238th El Clásico of all time among all competitions. Real Madrid has 95 victories. Barça has 93 victories. And the two teams have drawn 49 times. Barça looking for its 50th all-time home La Liga win over Real Madrid. And Barça's current El Clasico record in league games played at Camp Nou is 49 wins, 18 draws, and 20 losses. Another beautiful picture of Messi and Iniesta. There's Gerard Piqué out there warming up. I'm excited for this game, Jordi. How about you?
Ansioso porque empiece ya el partido. Estamos esperando. Son las 8 y 25 minutos hora española. Recordemos, el partido empieza a 8:45 hora española. Por tanto, aún nos quedan 20 minutos más con vosotros. Llegaremos no solo hasta que acabe el calentamiento. Intentaremos aguantar un rato más hasta que salten los equipos al césped. Escucharemos el himno. Así que aguantaremos casi hasta que empiece este partido, que tiene muchos alicientes. Entre ellos, por ejemplo, que el Barça siga invicto en esta liga. Como sabéis, jornada 36. Hasta ahora no ha perdido ningún partido. La racha es de 42 partidos, si tenemos en cuenta los partidos de la temporada pasada. Es el récord en la Liga Española, con lo cual el Barça evidentemente querrá seguir invicto en un partido como el de hoy contra el Real Madrid y evidentemente intentar acabar la Liga invictos. La jornada 36, el Barça tiene pendiente la 37, que es contra el Levante el próximo fin de semana, y la 38, que es la última contra la Real Sociedad, que será el último partido de Liga en el Camp Nou. Pero hay un partido pendiente, como decía Mike, el partido contra el Villarreal, que se aplazó por la disputa de la final de la Copa del Rey entre el Barça y el Sevilla. Ese partido contra el Villarreal, cuando vemos la imagen aérea fantástica de la ciudad de Barcelona, aún con el sol ya cayendo, 16, 17 grados. Ha llovido durante la mañana de hoy, pero ha quedado una noche fantástica para la práctica del fútbol. Ahí veis esa imagen de Barcelona con el Camp Nou en el centro, a punto de vivir este clásico. Como decía, el Barça tiene pendiente un partido el miércoles, un partido de Liga en el Camp Nou contra el Villarreal. El próximo fin de semana jugará en el campo del Levante y 19-20 de mayo será la última jornada de Liga contra la Real Sociedad aquí en el Camp Nou, con lo cual es aliciente del Barça de seguir invicto en la Liga. El aliciente de este hombre, Andrés Iniesta, de su último clásico. Evidentemente el manchego se querrá despedir de los clásicos y más ante su afición, haciendo un auténtico partidazo. Tengo aquí algunos datos de Iniesta contra el Real Madrid. Es el rival al que más veces se ha enfrentado, 37, las mismas que el Atlético de Madrid. Siempre que ha marcado Iniesta en un clásico, el Barça ha ganado el partido. Atención. Y los goles que ha marcado Iniesta contra el Real Madrid en Liga no ha marcado. Ha marcado 3 goles contra el Real Madrid, 2 en el Bernabéu en Liga y 1 en Supercopa de España en el Camp Nou. Con lo cual Iniesta hoy, si marcase, sería el primer gol de Iniesta en la Liga contra el Real Madrid. Y como decía Mike, no es un partido cualquiera, no está en juego la Liga, pero solo hay que mirar el 11 del Real Madrid, que recordemos tiene pendiente la final de la Liga de Campeones a final de mes, para ver que Zidane no se ha guardado nada. 11 absolutamente de gala, con la BBC en la delantera, con lo cual hoy, Mike, está en juego el honor tanto del Barça como del Real Madrid.
That's right. This is all about pride. If there were any other two teams playing right now, either Barça or Madrid, against any other teams in La Liga, there would not be this many people lining up with enormous lines and this kind of media attention. There are hundreds and hundreds of credentialed media for this game, far more than any other game throughout the season, even though mathematically there's nothing to play for. With Barça having already wrapped up La Liga and already having won La Copa del Rey, there's really only 2 things left to play for this season. The first is beating Real Madrid. Now, everybody knows, as we check out this beautiful view of Camp Nou, getting filled up very slowly. You won't be able to see anything of the color of the seats in a few minutes' time. Barça has to win this game, wants to win this game, because culturally, for this area and for all the Barça fans around the world, anytime you beat Real Madrid, it just feels good. You can feel it the next day, whether the game is mathematically important or not, whether it comes in the Champions League, Copa del Rey, La Liga, whatever. Beating Real Madrid is a feel-good process. It's great for everybody. You can feel it in the city. You can feel it around the world. And then Barca's other motivation for the season is to not only remain undefeated on the season now with this game against Real Madrid, extend the unbeaten streak dating back to last season to 42 games. It's already a Spanish La Liga record. It used to be 38 games. Barca broke that a few weeks ago with a victory at Camp Nou against Valencia to go to 39. That record was almost 40 years old, and it was over 2 seasons by Real Sociedad in 1978-79 and 1979-80. They had 6 games at the end of one season and then 32 games at the beginning of another season. Now Barca is now riding 7 from last season plus 34 of the season. That's already a record. It would be great to extend that over Real Madrid. And then Barça, of course, with the game against Villarreal, which was postponed from the conflict, the scheduling conflict with the Copa del Rey, and other games that Barça has to play left this season, a few more. They would like to go undefeated for the entire season because no team in La Liga history has ever done that. It's been done in the Premier League. It's been done in Italy with some of the great teams a long time ago. But Barça would become the first team to do it, and it would be great to start that off by beating Real Madrid. There's Leo Messi.
Máximo goleador en la historia del Clásico en todas las competiciones, Lionel Messi. 25 goles contra el Real Madrid, 10 de ellos en el Camp Nou. Curiosamente ha marcado más en el Santiago Bernabéu, por ejemplo lo hizo en el último Clásico, esa victoria por 0-3 del Barça en el mes de diciembre, 23 de diciembre, 0-3 victoria clara del Barça contra el Real Madrid. En los últimos años se le ha dado mejor tanto al Barça como a Leo Messi jugar en el Santiago Bernabéu. Veremos si hoy la historia cambia, si el Barça es capaz de ganar. Hace 4 temporadas en Liga que el Barça no gana, desde la 14-15, perdón, hace 4 partidos desde la 14-15 que el Barça no gana en Liga, con esa victoria 2-1. Ahí marcó Luis Suárez. Atención, uruguayo, ha marcado 5 goles en los 7 partidos contra el Real Madrid. Desde que llegó Luis Suárez es el jugador que más goles ha marcado contra el Real Madrid en la Liga. Atención también a esa pareja Messi-Suárez, especialistas en marcar goles contra el Real Madrid cuando ya los jugadores se retiran hacia el vestuario.
Here go the players, as we said. Leo Messi, Jordi was saying, in case you're wondering or you're still doubting who the GOAT is, in Clásicos, Leo Messi is the all-time leading scorer in the history of Barça Real Madrid matches. He has 25 goals. That's all competitions. Now, in just La Liga Clásicos, Messi has 17 goals. He's also the all-time leading scorer in that category. Now, Cristiano Ronaldo has 17 El Clásico goals to his own account in all competitions. He doesn't have the most all-time, even for Real Madrid players. That's Alfredo Di Stefano. A long time ago, he scored 18 in his career against FC Barcelona. Ronaldo could tie Di Stefano with one tonight or go ahead. Messi, of course, can extend his record. I don't think anybody's catching up with Messi with 25 El Clásico goals. That is a lot. Now, Messi hasn't scored in his last 4 El Clásicos played at Camp Nou in La Liga. That's the longest drought in his career. And curiously, over the last few seasons, Messi isn't even Barca's top scorer against Real Madrid in La Liga. That's Luis Suarez, who has 5 in 7 La Liga appearances against Real Madrid since 2014-15. Suarez, of course, scored in his very first El Clásico after debuting for Barca in the 2014-15 season. That was the year of the treble, the second treble for FC Barcelona. As we go over once again the starting lineup, Marc-Andre Ter Stegen, Sergio Roberto, Gerard Piqué, Samuel Umtiti, and Jordi Alba will be the Barca defense. In the midfield, Croatian Ivan Rakitic, Sergio Busquets from Valles, just outside Barcelona, and Andres Iniesta playing in his final El Clásico. Felipe Coutinho, Leo Messi, and Luis Suarez, the strikers for FC Barcelona. Now, Leo Messi, on top of all that, is the leading goal scorer in La Liga. He has 32 goals right now. He's also leading the race for the Golden Shoe. Did Salah score this weekend? I haven't heard any news about him. Leo Messi still leading the race for the Golden Shoe as well. Luis Suarez third in La Liga in goal scoring. Ronaldo second, but they're way back, both Ronaldo and Suarez, in the race for the Golden Shoe, as we see the Real Madrid players up there, their starting lineup again.
Repasamos la alineación del Real Madrid, la recordamos.
We'll again. Keylor Navas, Nacho, Sergio Ramos, Rafa Varane, Marcelo on the defense. Luka Modric, Casemiro, and Toni Kroos in the midfield, and Gareth Bale, Karim Benzema, Cristiano Ronaldo on the attack. Speaking of Sergio Ramos has 4 headers against Barca in his career, more than any other player since he made his debut in 2004-2005. So a lot of interesting goal-scoring stats among Barca and Madrid players. They all seem to rise to the occasion for these games. These are the games of games.
Sergio Ramos, otro de los protagonistas de este clásico, el capitán del Real Madrid. Atención porque Ramos, Iniesta y Messi jugarán su partido número 38, su clásico número 38. Solo hay 3 jugadores con más presencias en la historia de un clásico. Sanchís con 43, es el líder histórico, Manolo Sanchís, jugador de los finales de los 80, principios de los 90. Paco Gento y Xavi Hernández con 42, con lo cual Iniesta en su último clásico se quedará a 4 partidos de Xavi Hernández, el centrocampista del Barça.
That's really interesting. I just want to repeat what Jordi's saying in English. There are 3 players starting tonight's match: Andres Iniesta, Lionel Messi, and Sergio Ramos, who are playing their 38th career El Clasico, all three of them. And that's actually fourth most of all time, because there's only three other players who have played more El Clasicos in their career. Manolo Sanchis and Paco Gento. Manolo Sanchis with 43 El Clasicos for Real Madrid. Paco Gento, 42, tied with Barca's Xavi Hernandez, 42. So we know that this is going to be Andres Iniesta's final Clasico, unless he was not really joking in his press conference when he said he was going to go away for a couple seasons, come back as a player. He made like a nice little off joke there, but no, this is going to be Andres Iniesta's. He's not going to catch any of them, but Messi and Sergio Ramos could very well catch Xavi Hernandez. They're just 4 games away. This will be 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. And if we think about how many Clásicos are played each season, this is the 4th official El Clásico this season, the 5th overall. Barca and Real Madrid played in Miami in the Barca's third preseason game, and the Clásico Miami last summer, Barca winning that, of course. They played twice in August, the first 2 official matches of this season in the Spanish Super Cup, which Real Madrid won against Barca. A lot of people saying that Barca were not going to be able to challenge Real Madrid for the La Liga this season after that showdown in the Super Cup, which went to Real Madrid, and then Barca and Real Madrid now playing 2 La Liga matches. It's interesting to note that this season, Barca and Real Madrid didn't play a single game in either the Copa del Rey or the Champions League, which is kind of strange given that they're almost always in the later rounds in both of those competitions, and they generally run into each other in both. So given all of that, it's quite logical to think that in the next season or 2, Leo Messi and Sergio Ramos could catch Xavi Hernandez and Paco Gento and surpass the 42 El Clásicos of all time. That's a lot of El Clásicos.
Seguimos viendo imagen en directo del Camp Nou. Faltan, nada, 10 minutos para que empiece el partido. Estaremos con vosotros justo hasta que empiece el partido. Veremos el himno, veremos si hay mosaico en el Camp Nou. Veremos si hay mosaico. Aún no hemos visto nada, Mike, pero estamos aguantando con todos vosotros. Estamos en directo en la página web del club, en el canal de Facebook, en el canal de YouTube, donde nos podéis hacer llegar vuestros comentarios, vuestras predicciones para el partido. Antes os he preguntado, Mike, por el resultado del partido. Cuando vemos las mejores imágenes del calentamiento, no sé si, Mike, hay algún aficionado que nos quiera hacer llegar su pronóstico para el partido. Cuando faltan nada 8 minutos para que empiece, escucharemos el himno, veremos cómo saltan los jugadores al césped.
Well, there are 75,000 people watching live right now just on Facebook alone. Jordi and I, we were both here earlier this week doing Barca's victory parade on Monday, and there weren't 74 of 75,000 people at one time, so quite a bit more, maybe about triple the number of people
It's a clásico.
that we have. It's a Clásico. I mean, to get people to realize how big this game is. This
It's
is
the
a
end of the
Clásico.
world.
The sky is falling. This is an El Clásico with no bearing on the league championship. It's already wrapped up. It's probably the most insignificant El Clásico in years as far as the competition is concerned, yet it brings people together from all over the world. Everybody wants to watch it. The stadium is going to be absolutely jam-packed. The starting lineups are what they call alineaciones de gala in Spanish. These are the best of the best. It's what everybody is putting on the field. Zinedine Zidane is not resting anybody. Ernesto Valverde is not resting anybody. And it's not a surprise. And we're getting more and more people coming in live right now on Facebook, because these are arguably the 2 best teams in the world over the last several years. Of course, we're a little bit partial here. We're FC Barcelona people. It's our club, Més que un club. Real Madrid certainly with a lot of success in the last several years as well. And we've got the 2 players, the 2 probably biggest players in the world. Not probably, it's guaranteed, because they both have 5 Ballon d'Or awards, the most all time. They're the only people to have won that many. Nobody else has won more than 3, and that's only been a couple of players in history, and not in any recent years. Cristiano Ronaldo and Leo Messi squaring off in these games, the 2 biggest teams, the most storied rivalry of all time, and the 2 greatest players, arguably, of the last generation, going head-to-head again. They've done it so many times, but it never gets old. It's why we tune in to watch these games. It's why we love sports, and it's why we love El Clásico, because you never know what's going to happen. Is now you can barely see the colors of the seats. Camp Nou looks to be about 95, 98% full. It's 8:38 p.m. Central European time. We're just 7 minutes from kickoff. Jordi and I are going to be live here with you for 5 or 6 more minutes. We're not going to be able to take you up until the actual kickoff, but when the players are in position on the field through the Barça anthem and the mosaic, there's going to be a giant mosaic, which we're not going to spoil for you. Coming up, you'll get a nice view of it on your screen, so don't go anywhere. The flags are waving. On my way down here just a few minutes ago, before we started this broadcast, I could see all the flags sitting up in every single seat in the stadium, and now they're being waved around with Campeones 7 out of 10, a Kool-A decade. Barça, arguably one of the greatest dynasties of all time, 7 league championships in the last 10 years. That hasn't happened in any sport in quite a long time, certainly not in any of the major leagues in Europe or even in the United States, in the NBA, the NFL, NHL, or Major League Baseball. 7 out of 10, just a fantastic number. And Barça with so many titles in the last 10 years, not just Ligas, Champions Leagues, Copa del Reyes, Super Cups, etc. Leo Messi and Andres Iniesta with 30-some cups. There's a hug for Andres Iniesta and Sergio Ramos as the players are now lining up in the tunnel leading from the dressing rooms down to the field. The anticipation is building. The sun is setting behind Tibidabo there in the background, and the Collserola Tower behind the city of Barcelona. The Mediterranean Sea, of course, is on the other side. And man, I'm getting goosebumps, Jordi.
Ahí está la
I wonder
fiesta,
what the predictions are.
la fiesta del Camp Nou, las banderas con los colores azulgrana y de la bandera de Cataluña, las banderas ondeando en el Camp Nou. Faltan 5 minutos para que empiece el gran clásico de la Liga Española. Los jugadores ya están preparados en el túnel. Ahí les tenéis saludándose. Paulinho con Marcelo, los dos brasileños. Andrés Iniesta ante su último clásico. Ahí está la mirada del manchego antes de saltar al césped por penúltima vez en el Camp Nou.
Look at Andres Iniesta, the way he's looking out there. It's the look of a guy who's just trying to take it all in. He's savoring the moment, and why wouldn't he?
Imagen del palco y atención ese mosaico que se empieza a dibujar en las gradas del Camp Nou y el himno a capela, lo escuchamos. No es el himno, es la afición cantando, pero ya se está dibujando ese mosaico de campeones. Recordemos, 7 ligas de 10, una década culé, campeón de liga, campeón de copa. Ahí está esa imagen, 7 de 10, 7 de Champions. Y ese mosaico de campeones en el Camp Nou, esa imagen preciosa, Mike.
It is absolutely beautiful. I just want to quickly mention there are a lot of comments here on Facebook and YouTube asking people if they can watch the match here on Barca's social media accounts, and they cannot watch the match. We don't want to fool anybody. As the mosaic, la pilota ens fa més. That means the ball makes us more in Catalan. It's the Nike FC Barcelona advertising slogan for the season as we listen to the a cappella Barça anthem.